There are two kinds of people in this world. Either you're doing things you know you shouldn't, or you're not doing things you know you should. Guess what? We're both. Hi, I'm Marcy Barker, life and business coach, aka your loving kick in the pants. This podcast is here to help you become accountable with aligned action and become boss-minded while growing a business without sacrificing what matters most. Let's dive in. Good morning, my beautiful people. I'm excited to be here today for another episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants. And I don't even know how to preface the topics of the podcast because I just get so excited to talk and share my experiences because I know the value of what I share. And I was telling my husband how if you don't brag or if you don't make known the results of your skills, then your skill is going to dwindle. You have to absolutely be like, here are the benefits of my strength. And I'm going to keep doing it because it's benefiting me, myself, my family, other people, my business, other people's business. There's just so many things that have to be shared. And if you guys learn anything about accountability is fulfilling your desired expectations. And you absolutely have to be sure of who you are and what you want and what you're willing to do in order for that to happen. So anyway, in today's podcast, we are going to talk about the real cost of a memorable brand. And this comes from my book, Becoming Boss-Minded. And the framework, the Boss-Minded framework, is 5 different steps. The first one is to desire more. This is what gets you to take action. What do you actually want for your life? The second step is to define the cost, because us entrepreneurs, we are delusional and we think we can do everything. And oftentimes we jump into doing things without really knowing what it's going to take. For example, if you're building an audience, you never think that you're going to develop a haters club. Or people say people don't get married to get divorced. It's we do all these things and we focus on the good things that could happen. And sometimes we just don't focus on the bad things that could happen. So defining the cost is the second step of the framework, because to get a little bit smarter and to learn from your mistakes, we're going to look at some of the things that could happen. But of course, the very best way to define the cost is to look at your past experience and see what worked and what didn't work. So we're going to talk about that real quick, just so I don't leave you hanging. The other 3 steps of the framework, the third step is to find the edge. So that means get a little bit out of your comfort zone. Don't jump off the cliff, but be willing to expand. The fourth step is to create your version of success, because as you take action, things are going to change. And you have to develop something for you. And that's according to what you want, not other people. And then lastly, the final step is to take your seat. So don't wait. Stop waiting for somebody else to give you permission to get what you want, because nobody's going to give you permission. Because guess what? Very few people give themselves permission to go and get what they want. So this story that I'm going to share with you today, the real cost of a memorable brand, it comes from chapter 2 in the Becoming Boss-Minded book under branding and identity. Now, I have been in business for 10 years. My brand has changed over the years, and I've done some big changes and I've done some little teeny changes. But why this story is so relevant right now is because I have people who get mad at me for things that I say and things that I do and they don't agree with. And I think that is totally fine, 100% fine, because act like you don't live your life looking at other people and deciding if you like it or not. That's how we decide how we want to act, is from what we see, what we intake, and decide how we want to run our lives. So I'm just going to read different parts of this story, because if you're watching this and you're building a brand or you're building something that's important to you, you absolutely have to know that you're going to piss people off along the way. It's just going to happen. And the reason why you're going to piss people off is because you're creating something that doesn't fit them. And they're bothered by that. Anyway, the other thing I do want to share is there is a video I saw a long time ago. And I'm going to have Jezza, my podcast producer, put it in here. I don't know who it is. I think this video is reshared. But this girl talks about she knows she's the villain in other people's stories. So let's watch that for a hot second.
So a little on the fence about this, because if someone who has been or is in my life comes and says something to you about me, even if it's negative, I might tell you believe them. Because what did they do to get me to that point? I am absolutely a villain in some people's stories, but people's minds and memories are selective, and they just start to where I became the villain. And I have no qualms about that. I can absolutely be very comfortable being the villain in your story, because I know myself well enough to know I will never wake up and intentionally want to hurt you out of the blue. And even when you hurt me, I will never want to hurt you back. But you best believe I will stand my ground. You will no longer have access to me. And if I come off as cruel, if I come off as a villain, so be it.
Okay. The reason why this resonated with me so much when I first saw it is at first I was like, I don't want to be the villain in people's stories. But then I was thinking, you really can't control that at all. You cannot control other people's perception. And my husband and I have varying opinions about this, because he does believe that you don't have to provoke people. Like, you don't have to give them a reason to be mad at you. But I'm also like, I have had people be mad at me for reasons that don't even have anything to do with me, like at all. So one thing that I also wanted to share is a few weeks ago in the podcast, I talked about documenting your strengths and sharing. And there will be people who will love you for what you do. And then there will be the same people who don't want anything to do with you for one reason or another. And I showed you guys, let me put a bookmark in my book. I showed you guys that I have this stack. I have this big stack of cards. These are thank you cards. These are things that people have written me, messages of gratitude. These are thank you cards. I keep them because it's a reminder when I'm feeling down or I'm feeling prone to depression. I will pull some of these out. Like, I can pull one or two of these out and it gives me a reminder of what I'm doing. So somebody said, Marcy, thank you so much for your friendship, guidance, and for welcoming me into your community. This is actually funny that I pulled this one too. Another person said, congrats on launching your book. That's so exciting. Best of luck with the event tonight. I included a few more business cards in case you need them. Thank you for this fun opportunity. One more. We'll read one more. Okay. Marcy, may your birthday be the start of a year filled with good luck, good health, and much happiness. Okay, these are people who wrote cards to me because they're grateful for me in their life. And the cards, the people that I pulled out, I'm like, I haven't talked to them for a very long time. But the truth is, I have created an impact by what I do. The reason why I shared this in past podcasts is because there are cards that I pull out that people have written me very nice things, and then I just kind of laugh or I take it all in because some of these people don't like me anymore. Like, we've had a falling out. They want nothing to do with me. And this just goes to show that when you're building a brand, there is a cost. And you can do so many good things for so many people. And then one thing can happen and they can flip the script and it can change. And that is 100% okay. It is 100% okay, because I've even had people in my life, coaches I've hired. I hired a coach one time and I thought she was great. And then I learned more about it and I had an experience with her and I was like, you're kind of gross the way that you would treat people. I would never do this. And I flipped the script on her because of my experiences. This is the cost of building a brand. Okay. So I also kept this on my desk because I wanted to share it. It's just funny. This person wrote, Marcy, thank you so much for letting me use your house and for supporting me and growing my business. You are an amazing friend and coach. Guess what? This person hates me out. They do not talk to me. They blocked me. It's so interesting. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is data that you can use moving forward. But I want to share in this story. I want you guys I don't want you to normalize pissing people off, because I don't think anybody walks around trying to do that on purpose. But I do want to normalize the fact that you are going to change and you are going to grow and people can change their minds about you, and that's totally fine. But moving forward and growing and progressing, it is necessary to hitting the next goal you have in life or business, because you should 100% outgrow your old self. You should outgrow people who don't want the best for you. You should outgrow people who don't agree with the version of success you're creating for yourself and your family. That's the most important thing. Okay, I'm going to read a paragraph. You are what people experience. Your story isn't just the backdrop to your business, it's the heartbeat that draws people in and keeps them there. When you share your story authentically, you invite your audience to connect with you on a level that goes beyond the surface. For me, that has always been about catching those moments of inspiration and turning them into powerful messages. It's not perfect, it's not rehearsed, but it's real, and that's how it works. Case in point, I'm recording a podcast, guys. I don't even have any makeup on. Any small trace of makeup, it's from last night. me just doing my best so I can get in bed. A lot of what I share is very in the moment because that's how I like to do things. When you're building a brand, take the most genuine core parts of you and weave that into your business because it's going to be a strength that is part of your foundation. But here's the truth. You can't create a truly memorable brand without paying the price of vulnerability. It's not enough to show the highlight reel. You've got to be willing to share the hard parts, the ones you'd rather keep hidden, because that's what creates real trust and transformation. Just like me sharing that this person who wrote me a postcard, like this can be hard to recognize that somebody who worked with me, we were friends. I let her use my house for her stuff. It can be a really hard thing to say, this person hates me. Like we had a situation where she was doing things that were not okay because they were dishonest in my community. And I called her out for it and she was like, how much money do I owe you? I'll pay you off and I'm done with you. And she left and she blocked me and it was like, okay, that's crazy. Hey, my beautiful people. If you're loving these episodes, you'll want the full experience. I've bundled both of my books, The Accountability Code and Becoming Boss Minded, into one powerful package. You'll get instant access to the audiobooks and ebooks so you can learn and grow anytime, anywhere. Head to bossminded.com and grab the book bundle now. It's the perfect way to stay inspired between episodes. All right, let's dive back in. Another card that I just happened to pull out of here, the person who wrote, thanks so much for your friendship, guidance, and for welcoming me into your community. I love you. This person, we don't talk anymore. There's no beef there at all, but there is just a growing apart that happened, and that is okay. It's actually going to happen in your business. But being vulnerable, if I was going to get on here on my podcast and just pretend that everybody loved me all the time, that would be such a joke. So this video where this girl says, if somebody tells you that I'm the villain, I might tell you to believe them. It's like everybody has good and bad experiences. And that is a cost of building a brand and something that makes you memorable. I write on here, the second I feel something would be helpful, I grab my phone and hit record. Why wait? Nothing is more real than what is happening right now. Your truest emotions can be best communicated in the moment, and those raw, unfiltered stories are the ones that create the biggest impact. Now, I will tell you, creating things in the moment is a really important skill. That does not mean you have to post them right away. Okay? Sometimes it's helpful to record something and sit on it, or write something out and sit on it. And some people, what do they call this? A write and burn, like write something and then even decide if you need to send it. Guess what? I've done that many times where I've written a response. I'm like, this was really what I needed to get out. Does that mean it needs to be given to the other person? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But the real cost of building a memorable brand is going through the process of being real and vulnerable and understanding that you cannot build something big without mistakes happening or miscommunications happening or relationships falling apart, because you're meant to outgrow some things. Okay. In my business, when I shifted from fitness coaching to life coaching, and I started sharing about my experiences with my dad, who is narcissistic and abusive, not physically abusive, but abusive mentally and emotionally. I had no idea that me being vulnerable about my healing was going to open the doors for people wanting to connect with me. And in the Boss Minded book and in the framework, I do share in every single story steps you can take to improve your brand and your business. So in the chapter of branding and identity and defining the cost, I want to share the steps with you about how to navigate these things. Because again, me sharing things that might piss people off, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to share content to piss people off or to burn bridges or anything like that. The purpose of me sharing is that communication is one of my core values. And helping women feel seen and heard and included is so important to me. And it is also true that I might help somebody feel seen, heard, and supported 90% of the time. And then the 10% where it's off, it's like blow up, it's done. And it's not to say it's not hard to deal with, but I want to let you know that some of these things are going to happen as you're growing business. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that you don't have to grieve it. It doesn't mean that you don't take it and learn from it. But I want to tell you that if you were going to be taken down by every single one of those experiences, you'd quit a long time ago. So when we talk about creating a memorable brand, I'm going to say that your brand story doesn't mean you have to have all the answers or present yourself as perfect. In fact, the less edited your story, the more authentic it feels. People resonate with what's real, not what's rehearsed. Here's how you can start crafting a story that connects with your audience. Okay, so step 1, share from a place of honesty. Honesty is like the number one important thing in accountability, because you cannot fulfill desired expectations if you're not honest with yourself about why you're doing something and your ability to do it. So when you are trying to build a brand, sharing from a place of honesty means you don't apologize for what you know is right for you. Just like the girl said in the video, she's like, you can bet I'm going to stand my ground. And you should. You definitely should, because people are looking to attach to a foundation. And even if that foundation is something they choose to disregard in the future or call the villain, it doesn't mean that the foundation wasn't strong for them while they were utilizing it. So don't try to guess what people want to hear when you're creating a brand story. Do not cater to other people. You have to find the connection between what you're good at and what they need. Okay, so sharing from a place of honesty is going to help you find the very best people. Because I will tell you, these people who wrote me thank you cards and who don't like me anymore, the very reason they were attracted to me is because of my honesty. And I say that because they told me that. So share from a place of honesty, okay? Step 2, talk about results. Talk about results in your business. This is like what I said at the beginning of the podcast. You have to brag about what you do because those are results. There are always going to be casualties or things that happen or trials or miscommunications or mistakes that happen when you are building results, because you cannot have a 100% success rate and not make some mistakes. So I want you to think about what makes your message impactful. So my podcast last week, the reason I shared the message and it was impactful is because accountability is taking the time to listen. Even when things are stressful, when they are hard, it is taking that minute or hour or day to yourself to say, what do I need to do about this situation? And how can I talk about the outcome? Because accountability is fulfilling desired commitments. So when you are talking about your brand, I want you to think about the results that you provide through your framework, through your product, through your service, and don't pretend that there weren't or aren't mistakes getting to the results, okay? The third thing to do when you're building a memorable brand is end with a call to action. Now, this is a business skill that you have to learn, is that it's great for people to watch you all day long. But even in my podcast, like, people can watch us for entertainment, for education, for whatever. But what do I do in the podcast? I tell you guys to go and get the audiobooks, go and get the accountability code, the Becoming Boss Minded book, to book a call with me, join the community, give me a podcast recommendation on what you want me to talk about. A call to action is where you're inviting people to do something with you. Now, the reason why a call to action is so important is because when people engage with a brand, that's how the connection between you and them gets stronger. And when I shared all of my stories in the last 10 years, some of them were bangers, some of them were just seemed to be filler content. But all of the content I've ever posted has had an intention, and it's helped me develop my strengths and benefit the lives of people that I'm communicating with. So end with the call to action. Whatever your story is, make sure it's honest. Make sure that there are reasons to why you're sharing. Talk about the results that them listening to you will provide. And then, of course, a call to action. So with this particular podcast, and talking about how there are going to be people who make you out to be a villain. There are going to be experiences you have in your business that 90% you did right and 10% you did wrong. That is okay. It is 100% okay. So call to action here. I want you to think about in your business, in your life, what are you doing right? Focus on what you're doing right, because that 90% of progress and action, the world needs you. The world needs more of that. The world needs to see that more good is created while you're being an imperfect person. So some of the best relationships I have built have come from being vulnerable and authentic. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real. And when your business reflects who you truly are, it becomes a powerful force for good. I will end with this. Not every piece of content will be a home run, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep showing up and sharing. Over time, those moments will turn into messages that define your brand and inspire your audience. If you're not willing to get real, you'll always stay forgettable. I don't like that. Branding that lasts isn't built on polish or image alone. It's built on truth. So define your cost, speak your truth, and let the story be the bridge that leads others to freedom. I want to leave you with the reminder that you're amazing and you're awesome. And even if you are the villain in somebody else's story, guess what? You're still in their story. And creating a memorable brand, mission accomplished. You just have to make sure that you continue to be an honest person. You continue to focus on the things that you are doing and continue to invite people who agree with you and share your vision to come along with you. And that's it. That's all you need to do. I know it's easier said than done, but I'm here to help you, and I can't wait to see you next week for another episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants. Thanks for tuning in, friend. If this episode gave you value, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone in your circle who's ready to wake up, show up, and grow their business without sacrificing what matters most. When you do, you're not just helping them, you're building your network of like-minded leaders. And I'll say this plainly, leaving a kind review matters more than you know. It helps more people find the show and it keeps the momentum going. So pause for a moment and please drop that review. Lastly, if there's a topic you want me to cover, I want to hear from you. Reach out because this podcast is for you and I'm here to serve. Until next time, stay boss-minded.